Today we're going to learn about author's purpose. What do we read? Raise a quiet hand and tell me what you read. What do you read, Madison?
Autobiographies.
Autobiographies. Why do you read them?
To learn about other people's lives.
To learn. Matthew.
Fiction.
Fiction. Why?
Because it's more interesting than all the other ones.
It's what?
It's interesting.
It's interesting. It entertains you. Kelsey.
Non-fiction.
Nonfiction. Why do you read nonfiction? To get information and to learn. Anybody else?
No.
How many of you have ever gotten a new toy or a Lego set? What do you read when you get something new? The instructions. And what do you read the instructions for?
To know how to do the.
Yes, to know how to do something. Good job. You're right. Don't doubt yourself. Good job. Okay, so today we're going to learn about author's purpose. And at the end of this lesson, you will be able to read a passage, story, article, or poem and understand why the author wrote it. To help us with this, we're going to remember pi, actually pi square. Do y'all remember acrostic poems?
Yeah.
We're going to kind of sort of make one. The P is going to be persuade, the I is to inform, one E is to entertain, and the other E is to explain. And let's find out what each of those means. The reason an author writes something, it's easy as pie. There's your acronym. Helps you remember. The author wants to convince you to do something, to think a certain way. What would that be? What's the P for?
Persuade.
Persuade. Political speeches persuade, advertisements persuade, and letters persuade. Here's a persuasive poster, and it tells you to recycle. It's written in hopes that you will recycle. The next one, the author gives you information or facts about a topic. We read it to learn. It's nonfiction, can be a textbook, an encyclopedia, or news articles. Your science textbook would be a good example of it. What is the I for?
Inform.
Inform. To inform. The next one, that's our E at the end. The author wants to amuse you. We read it for fun. We read for enjoyment. Some examples are fiction books, chapter books, poetry, and folk tales. What's the E for? Jimmy. Graphic novels. Okay, what's the E for? Entertain with an E. And since it's pi square, we have another E. We have two E's at the end. The last one is for the author explains how to do something. How-to books, manuals, cookbooks, science experiments are all how-to books. What does that last E tell us?
Entertain.
Jameson, to explain. Good. The author is explaining something to us. By the Big Red Barn. The Big Red Barn is a picture book. It's a story. Is it real?
No.
It's not.
Could be inspired. It could be.
It's not a real story. It doesn't have a whole lot of facts. How many of you have read it?
No.
Okay, then you should know that it's the story of what the animals do when the farmer is away. And they play and they run around. It's not real. It's fiction. And it has a lot of illustrations. Our clues tell us that this is for entertainment purposes because there are illustrations. Text is written as a story with a setting. And it's fiction. Fiction usually isn't for anything but entertainment purposes. To inform. This is an animal habitat sheet. We can see photographs, facts about animal habitats, text features, and it's nonfiction. Those are our clues for informational. Persuasive. When an author wants to persuade us to do something, he will write an advertisement, include a photograph of the product, And it's trying to convince you to do something. What's this trying to convince you to do, Emma?
It's like trying to
They want you to buy it.
It's trying to get you to eat a burger. Last one is to explain. How to train a puppy. We know this one is explained because of the title. First of all, it's a how-to. It's giving us the steps on how to do something. The photograph on it corresponds with the title. And it's a how-to book. Now here's a question for you. Is the book How to Train Your Dragon?
No.
Dragons
We need quiet hands. Is How to Train a Dragon a how-to book? Landon?
No, since the dragon is not real.
A dragon's not real. They can't teach you something that can't be done, right?
Why? No, sorry.
How to train
Any questions on author's purpose? There are 4 choices for author's purpose. As you work through the packet this week, first you're going to work with your table teams. First thing is you're going to read each one of these 9 little passages, and you're going to tell me if it's to persuade, to inform, to entertain, or to explain. You decide and put it in with your table team, and we'll go over it together. And later this week, we are going to go through different sections in our packet, which you're going to do buddy work with. You're going to look at different scenarios and try to identify the clues and determine what the author's purpose is. Question?
Yeah, when we take the test on this, is it going to be like whether we have to put whether it's persuasive and inform?
That's a good question. I'm going to show you what the test is going to look like. Sophia?
In the packet, if you write the letter in it, like for explain, would you write E with a 2 above it? Like entertain or explain?
On this front page, you only have entertain. It doesn't have any step-by-step because that would be too easy to determine on this smallest space. So your E would only be entertain.
Okay, just making sure.
This is what your test is going to look like. It's creative. Front and back. What you're going to do is fold your sheet in half. You're going to color, so you'll have the opportunity to get a little bit creative. Then when you open it up, you have your sections. Persuade, inform, entertain, and explain. You're going to get a list. You're going to cut each one out and place it. Each example goes in the column that tells us what the author's purpose is for each of it. An example of a nonfiction book, example fiction book, I read this to learn about something, Harry Potter. So first you're going to tell me what type of reading material it is. You're going to cut that out and put it on each column. Then you're going to tell me why. And lastly, you're going to give me the examples. For example, Harry Potter, or The Life Cycle of a Ladybug, or No More Homework. All of these are examples of books. You need to decide which category they fall into. This is what your assessment will be. And we'll do this next week. Any more questions? Okay, thank you.